Welcome to another Wall Street Informer production on WSI TV.
Welcome back for the start of another WSI TV episode. I'm Sean Bauer, Chief Editor of Wall Street Informer on wallstreetinformer.com. I'm joined again today by Jordan Bishop, our market analyst. And Jordan, I've got to say that this is a really fantastic episode for me, and it's mostly because we're getting results from our versus round.
Yeah, we are. We've been watching them all week, and I got a little big-headed back here because mine was doing pretty well for a while.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, sorry to interrupt, Jordan. Versus is just our bi-weekly segment where we go head-to-head, pick a stock, one each, and then we just track results over a couple of weeks, see which one does better. And of course, as we're about to do in just a little bit, the loser has to face the wheel of misfortune.
Right, and if you didn't tune in last week, there's a great clip of Sean getting a nice big bucket of ice water over his head.
Yeah.
So that was his punishment for my win.
Right.
The previous week. So
Exactly. Yeah.
Now the tables have turned.
Exactly. Now we're this is finally the week to get results from round 2 of our versus challenge. I know your pick was CLD. That's
CLD,
right?
yeah.
Mine was MO, which is Altria Group. This one was pretty wild.
It was.
Kind of take us through.
Yeah, so last week I mentioned that CLD was up. I think it was 17% in a week.
It was.
Yeah,
crazy.
and
Crazy
that was
stat.
I think that was last Friday or last
Something
Thursday.
like
yeah.
that, right?
So I started thinking, I've got the win. That's a great gain right there.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Through.
It's an incredible gain.
And then, the tables turned, and I'm not going to blame it on the 2 market down days, and I'm not going to blame it on my pick. It's just, it's coming back down to bounce. It's still looking like a great stock, but it was wrestling with your stock. At least our percentages were.
Yeah, it was actually kind of a fun scene here at the office because at the close of the trading day, we're watching the stocks go back and forth. They were literally within like a 1/10 of a percentage point or something like that.
Even less 100th.
They finished, I think, a 2.73% gain for MO and a 2.70% gain for yours.
For CLD, yeah. And we were
That's
talking.
Just incredible.
Sean, offered to give it a tie, and I don't know, and I'll take the loss, I guess. I mean,
good on you. Good on you for that. Yeah.
Seeing my stock all the way up there, but it is what it is. I mean, they're both decent gains in 2 weeks. They're both great looking stocks, and as I said, mine looks like it's coming back down to gain some momentum to shoot back up again.
No, it looks fantastic, and they really were picked for 2 different reasons. I know yours, as the penny stock king, as we call him around the office, was another penny stock, another brilliant pick. 17% in a week, and that's really for kind of those short-term, skyrocketing gains.
With those penny stocks, I always say you get out when you see it reaching the top of the hill, and it does that very quickly sometimes, as CLD did. It's not out of the ordinary.
That's one of the big benefits. Yeah.
Exactly. So.
And then sorry, Jordan. Yeah, on the flip side with MO, we had that was really a System 60 pick. We just wanted to sort of, give you a taste of what that system does for you, and it basically acted exactly as the system says.
It's a very short-term system, but you get in when you can, and
it gives you, you can't use System 60 and not get a very strong stock. So we saw those gains. It just kept rising even when the market was down, and it ended up just barely edging you out. So.
Yeah, so it was definitely a good round for this past 2 weeks.
That was an interesting one.
Yeah, we were arguing a little bit before the close, as Sean said, and it was like a horse race. Like, mine's gonna make it, mine's gonna make it, but
Yep. All right. So, are you ready for your wheel of misfortune?
Yeah, it can't be that bad, right?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. All right. Here we go. All right, we're here at the Wheel of Misfortune, ready to exact my revenge with my throw for Jordan, so here we go. Oh, we got a bullseye there. All right, so you'll have to excuse us for being at awe a little bit there. I know that was a surprising little Wheel of Misfortune because we didn't exactly know what to do right away. I think you added in the rule in the beginning. If we hit a bullseye, it's actually every single one of the punishments.
At once.
That's pretty unlucky, Jordan. Yeah, we're going to need to get you a refill of whiskey, I think.
That's what I get for being so close.
Yeah.
If I just want to mention, if my stock finished 1 cent higher than it did at 230 or 533,
Right.
I would have been at 2.8, and it would have.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can't dwell on the past.
it was that close. It was that close.
So
Yeah,
we'll see next week how that goes.
Exactly. Yeah, we'll see you do all of these punishments. These are most of them on the Wheel of Misfortune anyway. So we're gonna do a shirt swap. Jordan's a Manchester City fan. I'm a Chelsea fan, so he's gonna have to wear a Chelsea shirt.
Might be the worst one.
Yeah, that's brutal for you, mate. Lemon liquor. He's gonna have to lick a lemon. Yeah, I love this one. Bite or lick a lemon every minute throughout the episode. We're gonna do ice bucket challenge again, so we get to douse you with some water, like I had the misfortune of. Pie in the face. That's gonna be fun.
It's like maybe dump the ice and throw the pie. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. That'll be fun either way. The helium high. So the next time we get an update on the pick we're gonna make later this episode, you're gonna have to have the high voice on helium. That'll be fun for everybody but you.
Yeah.
We also have Sippy Cup. This is a fantastic rule. So next week's episode, Jordan's gonna have to drink all of his whiskey out of a children's sippy cup.
Yeah, I think it's purple too, right?
Yeah, it's a beautiful sippy cup.
Yeah.
And finally, bartender. So you get to serve me drinks throughout the entire week and episode next week.
I forgot we said the entire week. Well,
that's beautiful.
A little embarrassing, but you know, I'll just have to pick a very strong one today. To get by yours. So
and we'll pick those I think later on. Towards the end of the episode. But we'll break it up a little bit. I know we have some really good stuff to get into, starting with Trump's stroll down Wall Street. You want to take us through that, Jordan?
Yeah, definitely. So you may have seen in the news lately, there's been a lot of talk about Trump repealing the Dodd-Frank legislation that was put in by Obama back in 2010.
I'll get you a refill here.
Thank you. And so basically, after the Great Recession of 2008, the housing market crash, we saw, there was a rule put in that it broke up the big banks. It took away the big, too big to fail banks, or it took away that system they had in place where the investing banks and the commercial banks were glued together as one. So basically the banks were taking your money, and investing it and making you profit, hopefully. But they were also taking their money in large sums, investing it and taking all that profit too. Which, I mean, the private banks, they can, I mean, it's not illegal,
right,
but it's very risky, It's
just, I mean, it can be very irresponsible.
Exactly. So that's kind of what we saw happen. Yeah, they took a gamble on sub-rate mortgages and all that, and then the economy came tumbling down. So basically, Trump wants to repeal this because you know how much he hates regulations.
Yep.
But he, there's been talk about him implementing the old Glass-Steagall rule,
right?
Which was implemented after the Great Depression of the 20s, and that wasn't repealed until '99. But a lot of high economists say that the repeal of the Glass-Steagall rule, caused the initial downfall of the market crash in 2009. So,
right.
If it's repealed and it isn't replaced, the Dodd-Frank law, we could be seeing very tumultuous times.
Yeah, I mean, just history repeating itself. Is that kind of the idea?
That's what I think. But we'll have to wait and see if he's got anything in place. Whether he will repeal it before he has something in place. We'll have to wait and see. But hopefully, it doesn't take too big of a toll on the market. So.
Yeah, I mean, obviously something that can have massive consequences, as it unfolds. So
definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
it's good one to watch. When you see in the media, you see Dodd-Frank, they never explain it.
True.
True. So I mean, I gave you a quick rundown. Go research it. It's very interesting. But it could have major implications. So.
Yeah, I think that's something we may get into a little bit more as well as we go, Jordan, because it seems like you have some good insight there.
Yeah, we want to touch on the economy and how it works with the stock market, and it's all, it all plays in with each other.
It's all intertwined, exactly. All right, beautiful. Thanks for that, Jordan. All right, now we want to do another rapid fire round.
Yes.
We've been getting some really quality questions in from viewers. Again, we're going to just throw 60 seconds. I've got the clock here on my computer. We'll just run through a few real fast.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, let's go ahead and go. Jordan, are penny stocks riskier to trade?
There's some risky penny stocks, that I wouldn't go near, but the ones that I like to trade and the ones that we put out through our new service, Penny Stock Launchpad, we make sure they have good history. They might have been stocks that took a big hit after the market crash and they're coming back to life. So could be, could not be, who knows? It depends how you trade them. So are you involved in day trading?
day trading, the way everybody knows day trading to be, we really aren't. We sort of do what we call cheating at day trading, and it's really trading overnight, as you'll see in the pillow profit system we have out, which is incredible. It's been getting great feedback as well. But most gains are made overnight. We just use those. We utilize the overnight gains. So not regular day trading, but we have our own system that works really well.
Yeah, I think you call it night trading, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Jordan, what is an ETF?
Okay, so an ETF is basically a group of stocks or a commodity or an index fund that you can trade, all wrapped in one, and as all the stocks go up, the whole ETF goes up, vice versa if it goes down. So
good question.
Sean, what's your favorite way to short the market? This is important.
Yeah, good. I'm glad we just ran out of time there, so I'm glad you asked this now. It takes a much longer time to answer, I think. And this is something we've been keeping some members up to date on. Certainly, if you're in our premium recommendation services like High Flyers Hotline, we have our own proprietary, our own specific ways to short the market when it's the right time, of course. But when we do, I think I can touch on 3 specific ETFs, actually, as it were. The first being SH, that's the ticker code. The second is SDS, and the third is SPXS. Now, all 3 of these are, the ETF is specifically designed to go up whenever the S&P 500 goes down. And the difference between the 3 is SH is just your regular stock, for lack of a better term. The SDS is 2 times leveraged, and the SPXS is 3 times leveraged, so a triple leverage there.
So whatever the market goes down, the SPXS goes up 3 times.
Exactly.
And just to touch or to clarify, you're not shorting these stocks; they're just stocks that you buy that short.
Yeah, thank you. So you would buy these stocks, and that would be your short play. But you're buying the stock while the market goes down, these stocks go up.
And
Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, and it's always good to have that sort of insurance. The stock market, when it's in a big bull market like we're in right now, there's always that sense of, when's it going to drop, and that way you're secure when it does drop,
Yeah,
I mean, especially here, like you said, we have in High Flyers Hotline, we touch on some of those,
Exactly.
One of those stocks. And
yeah, we feel really strongly about hedging a little bit whenever you can see some signs of potential short-term downturns. So that's a great point, Jordan.
Yeah,
Thanks.
I mean, great information, definitely.
Thank you, sir. All right, so that's it for rapid fire round. I know we went a little long, as always. And we're just going to finish things up again with the beginning of versus round number 3 now. So again, it's just 1 stock pick each. We'll get an update next week, and then in 2 weeks we'll get the results.
Right.
So do you want to lead us off here, Jordan?
Yeah, I will. I obviously have to come, out with a very strong stock after getting that terrible punishment that you'll see next week.
That's a bit rough.
So I'm coming here with another penny stock, Chesapeake Energy. They're an oil and natural gas company out of Oklahoma, and that closed yesterday at $6.45.
Okay, good.
So
another penny stock for the penny stock king.
Exactly.
All right.
Hopefully this one works for me though.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with, I believe it's called Calgon Carbon Corp. Excuse me. The ticker is CCC. Easy enough to remember. It just provides purification services for things like air, water, food. Anyway, the price just closed at is $15.60. So there are 2 picks for versus. You feeling good about yours, Jordan?
Yeah. I mean, I hope I am.
Yeah.
I want to feel good about it. I've been a little shaken up though.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. I'm feeling good, even though I only beat you by like 0.03%. So.
I mean, yours is only $5 off a penny stock too. So a little closer in range this time.
Yeah. All right. So. Yeah. We'll see how those do. We'll get to Jordan's punish bits next week.
Right.
Again, thanks for joining me, Jordan. Excuse me.
Thank you, Sean.
And thanks to all the viewers for joining us as well. All right. Cheers.
Thanks for watching another Wall Street Informer production on WSI TV. Be sure to visit wallstreetinformer.com, where you can become a member for free and gain instant access to the secrets of market millionaires via the Wall Street Informer Vault. So go ahead and claim this gift for free now at wallstreetinformer.com.